Let's try again. Good morning, everybody. I was so excited. I got started a little early. Now we're here. Let's see if I can hear John. John, good morning.
Good morning, Peter. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Okay.
Oh,
We're
okay.
good to go. Excellent.
Gotcha.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Hopefully you're having a good last day of this week in what is I guess this would be the last, well, no, I guess next week will be the last full week of August, won't it? Feels like summer's over. Kids are going back to school. You know, it's starting to cool off here in Canada. I don't know. It's we summer's not over yet. I refuse to give it up. Damn it! Feels like it's gone way too fast. But things are starting to pick up in the markets. We had a busy day yesterday. My goodness, the markets really sort of had a little bit of a slide yesterday. We'll see if it can recover some of that today, or if we end up with just an inside day with a smaller range than we had yesterday. I don't know what the future brings. We have to gaze into our crystal ball and figure it out. But my crystal ball's a little hazy right now. Maybe the place to start, though, is to figure out if the economic events are going to help forecast it. We have a couple of things happening this morning. We do have a speech going on right now by Bostic, apparently. He's probably speaking because he's not, I don't think he's invited to the symposium out in Wyoming, so maybe that's why he's talking. We did have the building permits that came out. It came out pretty much right on target. 1.4 million was the expectation. 1.4 million is what was delivered within 10,000. So I consider that right in the same range there. So no biggie. The big news for today is the fact that Jackson Hole will speak. Powell is going to get up to the podium, tell us what they've been discussing at Jackson Hole. Now, it's funny, Andrew was talking about this yesterday in the chat room where he said, why the heck did they go to Jackson Hole? They're like, why there? There's nothing there. I think originally that was the whole point. Nobody knew where the heck it was, and they could all go hide out and have these economic, world-changing discussions, or at least country-changing discussions without anybody knowing. Now everybody knows where Jackson Hole is, if only because of this symposium. I've never been there. Is it a nice place? I have no idea. I know it for this economic symposium that they have once a year. That's the only reason why I know it exists. So, but anyways, 10 a.m. If you're in a trade at the open and you're still hanging on to it at 10, there is going to be a speech from Powell. It's not expected he's going to announce any policy change. Looking at the FedWatch tool, we can see the target rate probabilities for September 18th, which is the next actual rate announcement, is actually now citing more to a quarter point decrease in the interest rates. 73.5% of all the analysts expect there to be a quarter point decrease, and the balance of the 26.5% expect a half point decrease. So nobody is expecting rates to stay where they're at. So the risk for us in the markets this morning is if Powell even hints that there might not be a rate cut at all, the markets will go crazy. So be careful. If you're in a trade at 10 o'clock, just know weird things could happen. Now, the speech starts at 10. It's going to depend, right, on his fixed comments and, of course, the Q&A and how all that plays out. I think you guys can maybe help me out with this. I don't know does he actually take questions at Jackson Holes or just a fixed speech? I'm honestly not sure of that. Because normally these press conferences, I'm used to them in the afternoon, right, after the rate announcement. Yeah, I'm not sure. But of course, then leading up to that 10 o'clock, we're going to see the market position itself, right? A little cautiously. So you might see less pre-market action than you're used to. So it could be an interesting Friday. So just be careful, whatever you're doing. And, as long as you're aware of it, right, you can react to it. I'm not saying don't take trades at the open if that's what you normally do. I'm just saying be careful with them. And John, for someone like you that's looking at 5-day breaks, if you see a great one that's happening at 9:55, you might want to be a little skeptical of it because you never know what might happen.
That is correct.
Yeah. I mean, it might be great, right? Because he could say something great and the market will shoot up and you'll get a massive move immediately, or it could go the other way. The problem is you just don't know. So Anyways, that's my news for everybody. Be careful, whatever you do. The big, oh yeah, by the way, we got like home sales coming out. Yeah, whatever. Like compared to what Powell's going to say, I don't think the home sales are going to have any impact. So 10 o'clock. Be aware of that. All right, let's take a look at the gappers because I'm looking for earnings. Not a lot of earnings this Friday, but and the gappers list was looking a little light so far this morning. So we'll have to see what we can get off of it, if anything. If not, we might just have to go back to the same old. And I'm fine with that. I don't mind days where I get back to my, good old regular candidates. They tend to work well for me. But let's see what we got here on the gap up list. You can see we've got a few things we're going to take a look through, reject the ones that we don't like, and focus in on the ones that might give us some trading opportunity. I'm going to start at the top of the list here with FFIE, FFIE, Faraday Futures Intelligent Electric. I think this has been on the list before. Wow, 8 million shares, though. 8 million shares up 33%. There's got to be some news on this. Not something I've been tracking. Look at this. It's now over a $10 stock, and it's been, what did it do? Had a relatively good day yesterday. Lower volume. What is the volume? The total volume. Oh, my God. No, maybe not. No, wait. What is this? What was the volume yesterday? FFIE. Sorry. It's just sitting off my screen, so I can't see it. But yesterday's volume was 153 million shares traded. What the heck? All right. So maybe 8.5 million shares is not huge. Looks good, though. John, do you see any news on this? What's going on?
I do not.
Okay.
No, I see an article acknowledging it moved a lot yesterday, but there's no specific news on it. That volume did kind of, if you look at the way it came in, it wasn't there in the morning, and then it built very steadily in the late morning till around 11 o'clock or so. So I don't know if sometimes these things get stupid and hot, and that might be what happened to FFIE yesterday.
Huh.
I will reach out to the community here if anyone knows any news about this. I can't find anything, though. No earnings.
I see an article that apparently they're going to have a launch event for what they're calling the China-U.S. Automotive Bridge Strategy. So it sounds like this Faraday Future, this FFIE, is a California company, but it looks like they're working with the Chinese government. I'm trying to figure this out here. Where they're going to try and market the same cars in the U.S. as they're in China. We've been talking about this for a while. The fact that the Chinese EV brands generally have not made it over to the U.S., and the only U.S. brand that's made it over to China that I'm really aware of is Tesla. So this bridge strategy could be interesting, could radically shake up the car market in the U.S. because there's a lot of innovation going on in China that we just don't get to see here because of the limited brands that we've got. I mean, we've got selection, but I don't know if you ever watch car reviews. I love watching them. John, do you ever watch car reviews?
I do, yeah, especially lately.
There's some EVs I've been watching, like some of the EVs, especially like SUVs and minivan type car EVs out of China, where they're amazing. Like they're an entire apartment in a vehicle. They've got lie flat seats. They've got complete blackout, like windows, like those, I always forget what they're called. Like they're electrostatic windows. You can completely black them out and basically lie the seats flat and then play a movie on the front or back window of the car. They've got little fridges in them, and they've got, anyways, just, I don't know, just cool stuff that we just don't have, like, and full, if you've ever had like a heads-up display in a North American car, it's pretty lame, frankly. Here they've got full head-up. What do I want to call it? Like computer animated live views, meaning that like it'll have like a speed sign for you just permanently in one corner of the window. It'll alert you of things that are outside of your viewing range. It'll like all this stuff live in your windshield. It's pretty cool. Anyways,
so that makes for a great car review, Peter. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, I find that stuff fascinating. But it's interesting to me that how much of that, like an augmented reality, Paul, it's fascinating to me how much of that stuff exists in China. Now, how well it works, I have no idea, right? I just see this stuff in these car reviews and I'm like, that's really cool. Why do we not have that here? Why have I never heard about it in a North American brand? Maybe it's because it's really not ready for prime time. There has been a history of Chinese companies releasing things that maybe aren't prime time ready. I don't know. But anyways, FFIE is looking prime time ready, at least today. Look at how it's moving. It's moving well, especially in the last like 20 minutes or so. I think this has got to go on a list just to keep an eye on it, see what happens. All right. I'm excited. Okay. Can you tell? Anyways, GOVX. GOVX is the next thing on the list. It just popped down my list. This has been on the list for the last few days, frankly, without any more news than it had when it was announcing its involvement in monkeypox vaccine development. Anything new, or is it still just riding that wave?
Riding the wave.
Riding the wave. Okay, then. All right, so nothing new. I haven't liked... Oh, what happened? Why did this not... Sorry, it didn't translate to my chart. There you go. I haven't liked the way it's moved the last couple of days, so I haven't really bothered trying to trade it. I doubt that's going to change today. I mean, it would have to do something extraordinary for me to worry about it. So far, it's not looking like it's going to. So I'm just going to move on. GMS, nope, shouldn't be on my list. NXE, probably shouldn't be. No, well, okay. Next Gen Energy, 300,000 shares, up almost 10%. My God, I got something caught in my throat. I'm not sure. Any big news on it, John? NXE?
Nope.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep getting the same answer to a lot of your questions this morning.
Yeah, it's all right. The price action sort of looks okay, but look at the volume here. We've got like almost no volume happening, like literally 7,000 shares a minute. 2,000 shares in this minute, so that's not looking good pre-market, really. So yeah, I'm going to move on from this thing. Uranium Energy Corp, 200,000 shares traded, up 8%. These don't usually end up trading well. John, I'm just going to move on unless you tell me Uranium Energy is worth looking at.
I don't think so. No.
All right. Virax Biolabs Group. Boy, that sounds dangerous. Virax. What do you call your company, Virax? Like, why would you name your company something that sounds like a communicable disease? I don't know. Anyways, Virax Biolabs, 1.2 million shares traded. It's on hard to borrow and SSR. My goodness. So this is not shortable at the moment. $5 stock. Looks like it's been bopping around the last few days. I don't remember seeing this on our list at all. Was it? And I just forgot.
I don't recognize it either. They did announce a $5 million direct offering of ordinary shares yesterday. That news came out, but I don't know if that really is moving any of this because that was just yesterday. It looks like the fund started a few days ago.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find the 1.2 million. It looks like a lot of it happened around 7:30 this morning in terms of the share volume, and it's dropped off again. So probably not going to be awesome. I'll assume it's not awesome. All right, let's look at more. JLL, Jones Lang LaSalle Incorporated. No, that shouldn't be on my list. CCJ. Oh, here's one that I don't see often. Cameco Corporation. This is every once in a while pops up on the list. 250,000 shares, 5% move. What's CCJ been doing recently? Not much, really. John, any news on CCJ?
There is not.
Okay. Guys, we're striking out here. BWLP, don't like the look of that. How about Soundhound? Soundhound, every once in a while, does something interesting. I'm not sure if today is one of those days. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it just happens to have just been moved enough. 288,000 shares, up 2.8%. So it just made my criteria, but doesn't look interesting. I'm waiting for John to contradict me. He's not, so I'm assuming
I will.
right.
No,
Right.
You're right on target.
Flowers, dude. Jeez, man, this list sucks. All right, let's go to something that I did know was moving after hours yesterday. Workday. It doesn't make the list because it doesn't quite have the 200,000 shares I'm looking for. But it is up 15% so far this morning. We were looking at it after hours yesterday. It made some moves. I don't think Jared actually ended up trading this, but I know we were watching it after hours. Garbage party. There you go, Chris. Yeah, I like that meme. We are, but Workday is not garbage. It had some good earnings. If you want to share some details, John.
It did, yeah. This might be the only thing to say something about this morning. Earnings of $1.75 per share versus a $1.65 expectation, and they beat just a smidge on revenue, 2.09 billion versus 2.07. And I don't see anything about their guidance. I'm trying to look that up now, but yeah, the little bit of a beat for Workday and a little bit of a bump, so it kind of matches up.
Yeah, I like them. Workday. I've tried to trade Workday a couple of times in the past, and often it just doesn't play out for me. I'm not sure why, but has not worked out in the past. But maybe today will be the day. So I'm going to put it on a secondary list so that I can keep an eye on it. Just because it seems like it's if ever there's going to be a day, it might be today. All right, that's what I've got for a gap up. John, any upward gappers that you think we should be looking at?
Up. Let me check Chewy here. I'm seeing something about Chewy possibly. No, it's up 2.5%, not much volume. I've sunk into going to the CNBC page looking for their ideas for this morning. Maybe check out Roku, maybe.
Roku?
Not much volume, but it's up a bit.
4.5%. Yeah, look, it's been rising this entire month pretty much. It's not doing a lot in terms of exciting price action. Let's see what it looked like yesterday. Yeah, it doesn't look awesome yesterday, to be honest. So you never know. Roku might move. What was moving yesterday, we did have a lot of stuff moving down that's gapping up this morning. Our usual candidates like Nvidia, it's gapping up. Let's look at the daily on these, just because you can see like the big red candle from yesterday, right, as it was moving down. Tesla, the same thing. Tesla was down at 210 at the close yesterday, and it was looking very weak. It's good to see it slightly green so far this morning. That's good news, because if Tesla kept sinking, we might have seen it sub 200, but it looks like it's going to get a little bounce. So Tesla, Nvidia, as usual, on my list. I'm seeing a lot of green across the stuff I track, like Apple. Also, big red day yesterday. Now it's sitting sort of mid-range. So looks like today things are going to probably settle in this mid-range is my guess. Remember, 10 o'clock, we've got that speech from the Jackson Hole Financial Symposium where Powell's going to be talking. So that probably is going to keep the markets sort of on the fence until they figure out what he's going to say. Hopefully he'll just say, we're on track for interest rates as everybody expects, however he words that. But if he says something different, then, like I said, watch out. All right, let's take a look at the gap down list. There is only, I did a scan through it just a second ago. There's only a couple of things that might be worth mentioning. With volume, we have UBXG, which is UBX Technologies. I don't know what this company is. It is on a short sale restriction with virtually no shares for short. So, but it's got, it's down 84%. Look at this. It was $32 at the close yesterday. It's sitting at $5 right now. As Carlos would ask us, John, who's getting fired?
I don't know. That's impressive. Yeah, fun. It's just above the threshold for our funded accounts. It's just sitting right above $5. So careful out there if you have one of those funded accounts with this one today.
Yeah, why is it way down here?
I don't know. I don't see any news on it here. Did I get news on this?
What is this? This is a Chinese infrastructure.
It's a Chinese thing. I went on X. That's like my last refuge to try to find news about something, and there's a lot of news of just Chinese pump and dump, just garbage. So
yeah, that's not. I mean, good.
We've seen these in the past. We've definitely seen some Chinese companies do. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago there were a couple companies I mean, went from nothing to like $1,000 a share, $800 a share, and just came right back down to nothing. Just amazing moves. So it's just another one of those, I think.
My God. I'm reading the description of it. Let me read this out loud to you guys. UBX Technology provides digital promotion, risk assessment, and value added bundled benefit services. That is the biggest load of horse pucky I have heard in a while. That's just a disgusting corporate description. That's like somebody played bullshit bingo and said, let's see what words we can put in there. And then it goes on to say it's a holding company which focuses on providing value-added services using artificial intelligence-driven technology to business within the insurance industry. Again, they're just trying to put like keywords in there. No wonder this thing dropped 84%. Anyways, all right. I don't have a lot of faith in this thing. It sort of looks interesting, but this is just crazy time. I'm not even going to look at that. All right. I went through the rest of the list. Nothing on there that actually is important. I noticed that your buddy GFI is on here again. It's actually been hanging out for the last 3 or 4 days, John. It's hasn't done anything interesting, but it's been hanging out here.
Yeah, Goldfields.
Goldfields. Or good idea. I was looking this morning, everyone, at Bitcoin. There are a couple articles, interestingly, coming out talking about Bitcoin and how Bitcoin has been relatively stagnant over the last few months, while gold has been moving in terms of its price. And people sort of now saying, "Oh yeah, it was supposed to be digital gold, this Bitcoin, but gold is gold. Just trade gold. It's much better than Bitcoin," which I find interesting that the traditionalists are starting to fight back. I have to say, Bitcoin really has not moved much. It's sitting about 61,300 this morning. Price is pretty flat, and all of the crypto mining companies, again, the coins, the Maras, the IREN, all of those really haven't done much. Well, as Simmer says, yeah, it depends where your money is, right? You're right. I mean, it's I always take things with a grain of salt because there's so much. I'm very jaded, right? Because usually people have a purpose. If you're deep in gold, you're going to start telling people how awesome it is. It's just the way the world works, right? If you're deep in Bitcoin, you're going to tell people it's the future. So that's just the way the world works. So, John, do you own either coin, or you had some Bitcoin, didn't you? That you were just hanging on to for shits and giggles.
I still have about half a Bitcoin. Yeah, a little bit less.
Half of? Oh wow, that's okay.
It's it's sort of risk free. I mean, to tell you this, you're going to tell me why this isn't true, but I did take the money back I initially invested, so it's sort of, it's kind of free at this point. Although in the years I've owned it, I didn't put that money into the S&P 500 or something else. So I took back my initial investment from 4 years ago now, 3 or 4 years ago. It's been a ride, Peter. It's been a ride.
I bet it has. So, yeah, you're free rolling now. So, nothing wrong with that, right? Because as you say, it's if in your head you can just let it ride and you don't really care what happens to it, then so be it. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's also the point that some people are still in Bitcoin from $5,000 or something, and they think it's the greatest investment. I mean, you can watch it fumble around at 57,000, 58,000, and the person who's in at 5,000 is still loving life, So,
right.
Or you took a ride like I did, and there were times where you really loved it up at 70,000 and not so much at 15,000. So, depends on your entry.
Yeah, it's been pretty. It's been very volatile, obviously, and it's as a currency. Currency is not normally expected to be volatile. So Bitcoin. Yeah, I think you have to consider it a speculative investment and not a currency play, in my opinion. All right. So what do we have on our list so far? Well, we've got FFIE and Workday are the only two aside from the regulars. John, I asked you about the gap up. Anything gap down or anything other in general that you're keeping an eye
on? Personally, sheesh. No, I mean, I'm just like everyone else. I'm 10 o'clock is when our man gets up on the podium, and it's just I'm just going to try to play my strategy when that occurs and see if we can get something. I probably won't trade, honestly, before 10, although I've said that before and gone back on my word, but so we'll see. I didn't get many good trades yesterday. Meta actually was interesting yesterday. It did make a really strong move upward, and it did it the previous day as well. I don't know if there's going to be much left in Meta to keep trying to do that. There's no particular news on it as far as I know, and I'm not sure why it's been moving nicely the past couple of days, but sometimes that comes and fades and may be gone now. But I'll be watching that a bit.
Meta did make a good move. A little choppy, it looks like, at the open, but then that move up before it sold off with the rest.
Yeah,
of the
I actually
market.
I caught that move up mostly at a luck, and then I took 2 more trades on it and gave back most of it. So it was one of those days.
Eric M is mentioning, so we're going to go to the room and we'll go to YouTube, see what you guys are watching. Don't forget on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and the like if you can. We'd appreciate that. Kava. Anyways, Eric is mentioning Kava here. I remember seeing this yesterday. So people in the room were mentioning Kava because no, maybe it was earnings. Because look at this bop after hours. That really jumped up after. I wasn't watching this as an earnings play. It's up 8%, low volume, 220,000. I notice it's a NYSE stock, which means, it would get normally lower volume. So maybe not too much of a surprise, but it definitely sort of popped up at the close yesterday. Good $7-8 move. Eric, I don't know what this normally trades like during the market day. So if you like Kava, then by all means, what was the volume yesterday here? 6 million shares. Normally trades about, looks like just under 3 million shares. So it's a possible anyways. I don't know what to expect of it. So JJ's mentioning MU, Micron. Haven't looked at that for a while. Micron's got 1 million shares so far this morning, down 1.4%. It's in fact one of the few semiconductors that's down. Pretty much all the others, Intel, AMD, Nvidia, Qualcomm, SMCI, they're all gapping up this morning. But MU, let's see, Texas Instruments and Western Digital are the only ones I'm tracking that are gapping down. And I hate trading MU. In fact, MU and Intel, I don't like trading either one of them. But if you like it, then by all means. It doesn't look bad this morning. I mean, the pre-market action actually looks pretty good, so I can't deny you that. There you go. What else we got? How about on YouTube? What are you guys watching that you want to take a look at? AMD, Nvidia, Tesla, CompuCare team. We did talk about those. Those are my usual standbys. They're always moving. They're always good opportunities. Primordial's mentioning GovX. I sort of bounced off of that one just because it's been on the list the last few days. Hasn't really traded in a way that has inspired confidence for me. So again, if you like it, there's no reason not to watch it. Personally, it just wasn't one of the ones that compared to the 3 I just mentioned, for example, I'd rather watch them. JD Mo, JD was earlier this week. It had some moves. Right now, again, looks okay pre-market, but not awesome. It's it's sort of been all over the place, hasn't it? Up and then down, and then look at this gap down with a move up over the course of the day. What did it look like yesterday? Let's see, the price action yesterday. Looks like a lot of everything else, right? Sort of gap down. You could have played it actually in a failure of VWAP here, but failure of the retest. I wonder what that looks like in a 1-minute chart. What is today? Today's the 23rd. What does that look like? Oh, yeah, that looks like a decent trade, actually. Failure of the VWAP retest. Yeah, so there might have been trade opportunities on JD yesterday. Maybe there will be today. So, yeah, that doesn't look bad. All right. So that's what we got for these stocks. Why don't we talk to you about what we're doing next week? Because next week, like every week, we got a lot going on here. So tons of stuff that happens in the community. I'm going to pass it over to my good buddy John to run us through the week schedule.
All righty. Starting off Monday's kind of our welcome to the community day. So we have the DOS Trader Pro setup assistance by Brendan at 12 noon. And that's been very popular. And DOS it's a good trading platform. It's a great trading platform, but it's hard to get started like most trading platforms. So like, where do you go for your answers? Go see Brendan and get some help in real time. And that's a great session. Carlos has new members onboarding Monday night. So if you're new to the community, new to day trading, new to both, come by the onboarding session and let Carlos take you through the introduction to what we are and day trading in general. On Tuesday, we have our webinars. We have, this is going to be a popular one. This topic comes up a lot. And I'm glad we're having it because people ask me about taxes for day trading. And I always say, don't ask me about taxes for day trading. You want to talk to an expert. So we have one, we got two, I guess. Joey Smith and Dave Long coming to talk about essential tax knowledge for U.S. day traders, helping you make informed decisions, not going to turn you into a tax professional, but give you essential topics like selecting the right professional, understanding when to seek help, how to execute your tax plan, etc. So that will be pretty cool. And Aaron in the chat says Dave is great. So that's there we go. We got an endorsement. The following week, we've got Megan talking supply and demand zones. You've probably heard Megan talking about these a lot, actually. She gets better every month. Megan is a more impressive trader, and she's going to be talking about where are the buyers and where are the sellers on that Tuesday night webinar. And then going to Wednesday, we got Mike.
Probably with the bread analogy, right?
Is that the thing now? I've been walking during the afternoon. I feel like I'm missing a lot of the communities. I saw there was a dog yesterday that Art drew for Jared. Like, man, I gotta hang out more in the room because I'm missing the references. So
Megan's all about the carbs. So she always makes some sort of, whether it's pizza or bread or, there's some reference. So something to look forward to when you're there on Tuesday.
I love it. I love carbs. They don't love me necessarily. Yeah, Mike, this coming Wednesday, Trading Mindset Support Network for Traders. Mike always does a fantastic job. He's our most psychologically minded mod. Does that make any sense? He loves the psychology stuff. And then the following Wednesday, this sounds interesting. Dr. Kenneth Reed coming in to talk about the Rain Man factor. So he's going to talk about a guy, a trader nicknamed Rain Man, who's been trading for 5 months, yet operates in a focused, distraction-free mental space. This environment allows him to see patterns and details that others often miss. How many toothpicks are on the floor, Peter? And
496.
That's a Rain Man joke. And then Thursday, we have Mentorship Thursday. I'll kick that off at 11 o'clock in the morning, working with our new traders, struggling traders in that session. We had a great one this week, so I'm looking forward to next week. And Jared and Megan back with more carbs, 2 o'clock, talking options mentorship at the end of the day after the market close, which is a great time to talk because you don't have the distractions of the charts. Lenny's going to do his afternoon mentorship, and Thor closes it off in the evening with his Thursday mentorship. And that is the
week. I should qualify that. No Lenny next week. Lenny's on vacation. He'll be.
He's still kind of getting back to Columbia. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No worries. I just talked with him yesterday, and that's how I knew. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I saw that message too. If you'd like to join us here at Bearable Traders, there's lots of ways to do that. You can do the intro membership for $39. It's 1 week of access that'll get you into the chat room, which is really the best part of Bearable Traders, and also get you to some of the basic courses. If you want to go up to another level, you can do an elite annual, or best deal is a diamond annual membership. The diamond annual actually comes with the 1 year. 1 year of elite access. So you have access to everything I just talked about. All these mentorship sessions, the webinars, everything. 3 months of DOS Simulator. That's a $400 value there. And then you can also do the $50,000 funded training account, where you will trade a simulated account with $50,000 buying power. And if you happen to make money in that account at the end of 90 days, the big man's going to cut you a check. So it's a good deal. As long as you don't hit that 12K drawdown, so you got to protect your bottom line.
Indeed, you do. Best deal on the street there. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that. If you're just watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, subscribe to the channel. Helps things out. Makes Andrew give away more laptops. We like making him give away things, so that's always good. Hopefully we'll have another laptop going out next week. We had one this week, and yeah, like we've had every week for the last few weeks. So that's pretty awesome. All right, let's quickly set some levels. We only have a couple of things to set levels on. The usuals we don't need to do. I'm going to start with the two that sort of were on my list that I want to watch, and that would be Workday. Let's start there, WDAY. Let's get to a daily chart, and we can see, because we are gapping up above all the price action. Let me get rid of all these lines. And up above the price action where we've been for the last 3 months almost, to an area definitely that we should see some interest. I noticed that we're sitting just underneath this high, which is 263.66. So I want to mark that area very specifically. Let me make sure I'm 263.66. If I can type it properly, it's exactly where I want to have that level. So that's something that I'm going to watch. And if we go higher than that, because look at this, how that area, by the way, that I was just marking, how this was support back here in March, and then resistance in May before it made this big drop, presumably the last earnings. So now they're back, baby, and they may be looking to gun higher. If they do, I mean, there's a chance of them going all the way up here to 279 areas. So I'll put a level there to keep an eye on. To the downside, well, we just have a lot of room to the downside, really. There's not much going on here. Other than down here at around 246, I would watch to see if it drops that far. I mean, it's possible. It's already made a $32 move up, so there's a lot of range for this to move. I would expect the spread to be relatively high. I noticed it's only 45 cents now, but when we were looking at it for earnings last night, I think the spread was up to like $8. It was just something crazy, right? Like it was untradeable at the spread level. So be careful if you're trading Workday. Make sure you keep an eye on that spread so you're not getting filled at a level you're not anticipating. All right, so that's Workday. The other one that, again, I don't know if anything is going to happen today, but I love the fact that it's up 30% with this 13.5 million shares traded now. This FFIE gunning higher here. Now it's a $10 stock after sliding for ever since this big spike. Look at that, man. Wow, that's crazy. In one day, this thing had a range from $36 to $156. Okay, so you know this thing can move. You've got to consider this a high-risk trade. Let me check the float on this. FFIE. Oh, I don't even have, this is like, I see like 1 million shares maybe in the total float. So super high risk on this one if you want to trade it. We're flipping over the float every 30 minutes here right now, and that might accelerate once the market opens. So be very careful on this. Do we have levels? Maybe. I don't know if they're relevant. Clearly, I've looked at this before because I see I've set some levels. But being that we're sitting right at $10 now, I don't even know. Like, is any of it relevant? The high happens to be of this morning is exactly 11. I noticed we got a tiny little gap back here in August. So I would just watch the whole dollars. I'm not going to set levels on this. Really, I think it's the whole dollar levels is what you want to keep an eye on. And other than that, just see where it goes. You probably already know the levels that we've already set on Tesla, Nvidia, AMD. I've done that sort of every day. We'll leave those there. Meta, John mentioned, was moving yesterday. So let's take a look at Meta because I haven't set levels for a while. I think yesterday we did get to an all-time high, didn't we? Before it sold off.
Yeah, I think so.
I was looking. Yeah, 544.23. Yeah, that was a new all-time high yesterday. So we're still right in that territory. We're at all-time high, which means other than the high of 2 days ago and the high of today, you can see those on my chart. I don't really have many other levels to mark because we're sitting in, what can be fun territory, but one that doesn't have particularly a lot of, supportive levels because it's sort of Wild West. We've never been here before or rarely been here. So if we can get over yesterday's high at 544.23, then it could be some fun. But again, be careful. Remember 10 o'clock. I want you guys to really remember that 10 o'clock time, because there or sometime shortly thereafter, when Powell starts to speak, again, the markets might not do anything. However, there's a good probability they're going to do something, and it could just be a knee jerk or it could be a continued move. I just don't want you caught unawares, because I've been caught in those. They are brutal when they move against you, because you think you've got a risk and it's well managed and your trade's going well, and you've got a 30-cent risk and you're in the trade. It's already like, double your risk in terms of profit, and you're up 60 cents, and then it drops $3 on you, like, and just blows past your stop. I've had that happen. I don't wish it on anybody. So this is why I keep warning you about these things. So just be careful whatever you're trading. All right. Those are the levels that we wanted to talk about for this morning. We have got some of our moderators starting to get their lists in. I think I've already shared mine with you guys. I'm definitely watching AMD, Nvidia, and Tesla like I usually watch. I think on my secondary list, I'm going to put Meta because John said so. And I like the all-time high factor, Workday, and FFIE just for fun. Although that's a super high risk, I'll probably watch it and not trade it. That's what's making up my list. John, do you want to read through what the rest of the mods are watching?
Sure can. So let's see. I like to look for where we have some shared ideas here. Lenny's looking for that Tesla, MU, Baba, Workday, and Roku. Jared's looking at ROST. What is that? Rost? Workday. Did we look at ROST?
We did not.
Jared's just sneaking weird things in here at the end, trying to look smart, and not not letting us do proper analysis on the Rost. So he's looking at that Workday, Kava, Nvidia, Avi, Tesla, Nvidia, AMD. Thor is stealing Avi's list and adding MU. Lenny, did we talk Lenny already? Oh, this is the same. The list just changed and now it's back. Okay. Pierre's looking at Nvidia, AMD, Tesla, MU. John is looking at Wait, Ford, and JPow. And is that the end?
I think that's a joke. Wait for Jay Powell. That's you.
It is. It is. I'm being silly. Got it. And who else we got here? Do we have another slide? I guess not. Okay, that's what we got.
Okay. Normally Fridays are good for IPOs. I got a couple that I'm watching, but nothing's open this week. All the stuff I expected to open has not opened. So I think that we are, pretty light. I'll let you know. I've got Work Medical, WOK, Walk, and another one, Retard Logitech Holdings, that are both slated to open, but we'll see if they actually do. They're pretty small offerings, so I'm not that excited about them, but I will let you know if they happen. We have live trading for you as usual, going on once the market opening bell rings. We'll see if Andrew can better his performance from yesterday. If you guys were trading live yesterday, he had one of his rare sort of red days. Was not working out for him, right? He was trying to trade Nvidia. It just was not cooperating. And, it happens. It's a good lesson, good reminder that it doesn't matter how, good you are, how professional you are, everybody can have an off day. So yesterday was certainly not one of Andrew's favorite days. Maybe it was the glasses, Chris. You could be right. He had those fancy digital glasses that might have been clouding his perspective. So hopefully he'll be trading without them today. John, do you have any big plans for the weekend?
I'm going to a college visit with my younger son. This will be his first one.
Oh, okay.
He's going to go visit the alma mater of my wife and I. So we're not trying to pressure him to go there, but that's where we're going. So we'll see what they've done with all the millions of dollars I've given them over the years. No building in my name.
Yeah. Wow. That's exciting.
Yeah, that'll be good. And then I think that's it. Oh, my mother says she wants to make lobsters for us on Sunday. So college and lobsters. I think that's what we're doing.
I've never had a parent call me and say they wanted to make lobsters. So
it's very common in my family. I don't know how we arrived at that's a thing that we do. We are not wealthy, despite the millions I've given to my alma mater, obviously. But yeah, I don't know why it's a thing. We live in New England, so they're here. You can get them if you want them. I always figured though, Peter, I lived in the Midwest, and sometimes I go to a store and there's a lobster tank and there were lobsters in there. Those should be as good as a lobster from anywhere else, right? Because they're swimming around and they're alive, right? They should be more or less.
I have no idea.
No opinion.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
they.
Just one of.
I understand though that they're not as good because they've been stressed, and like the stress hormones causes problems.
That could be, and they're not getting proper lobster exercise. Yeah. I don't know. We know we have time to fill here, so I'm just gonna give you some of my deep thoughts, and that's one of them. Is a lobster as good in Kansas City if it's alive in a tank? Looking forward to your comments on YouTube.
Simmer has been a lobster fisherman. Simmer, I feel like it was almost every topic we talk about, you've like somehow done it. Like, is that even possible? I'm not sure. Are you like 150 years old and you just won't age? You've done a little bit of everything. One of those
3,000 years ago, Simmer was there.
That's right. The Highlander of trading. Anyways, all right. Our live traders, are going to be here. I'm actually going to. It's funny, we're in that phase now where all of both my kids' friends are all getting married, so my kids are going to weddings, and then my wife and I are going to weddings of the kids of our friends. So I'm going to the wedding of the son of one of my wife's high school friends, and it's just one of those. It just seems odd watching all these little kids get married, but most of them. I went to
the wedding of my ring bearer in June, Peter, and like from my wedding, and he was so small at our wedding that everyone had to keep pointing where the altar was, like, up there, kid. You know what I mean? Like he was like he was like a toddler with a little pillow with the rings on it or whatever. So same thing. Second round of weddings.
It's the great circle of life. It happens. So anyway, so that's I'm right after the market closed today. I'm getting in the car. We're driving about 6.5 hours. We got to go to this wedding venue, and then it should be an interesting weekend. They're getting married in a barn, so we'll see what that's like. I don't quite know what's the dress code for a barn wedding. I'm still trying to.
Some of these wedding barns are pretty nice, Peter. I've seen a couple. Expect great things. It's not going to be a lot of hay and poop shovels. It's going to be fancy barn chandeliers and stuff. So, a kilt. Some people are throwing that out there. I think you got one, Peter, don't you?
I rented one for my son's wedding, so I've done a wedding in a kilt, but I didn't keep it. So we'll have to see. I think some dungarees, some overalls. We were talking about dungarees yesterday. Andrew's Burning Man suit. That's a suit for all occasions. You're right. You can just wear that anywhere. You'll be fine. Will, apparently it's very common. It's very common in Scotland. Apparently, most even Scottish people rent kilts rather than own their own. Didn't know there was kilt rental places readily available for me. So, anyways, all right. Well, that's my weekend coming up, guys. I'm actually looking forward to today. I think it's going to be cautious trading though, right? It's going to be a little weird. We're going to have to wait and watch the news. I know I keep saying it, but again, 10 o'clock. Powell is making this speech from Jackson Hole. I'm nervous for the open traders. I am not an open trader. If you are trading at the open, just know, right? The open trades could be great. They could be just perfectly normal. Don't worry about them unless they start to stretch towards the 10 a.m. or you're getting into one close to 10 a.m. That's when the problems could happen. Again, will it happen right at 10? Maybe not. Again, it depends on how the structure of the speech is. Is it delayed or on time? And then, we'll see how his comments affect the market. Like I mentioned earlier, the expectation right now for September 18th, that's the actual next rate announcement. So there's no rate announcement today. It's just, I don't know, it's like a summary of what they've been discussing there in Wyoming. Although I think most of the discussions happened this weekend. But anyways, right now the consensus feel is that there's going to be a 1/4 point rate reduction in the Fed interest rate, so the prime rate, on September 18th. So 3/4 of the people think that. The other quarter think that there's going to be a 1/2 point. So nobody is expecting a flat rate target. So once again, the risk is if a flat rate, if Powell even hints that he may not or they may not reduce rates, again, I expect the market to sort of do weird stuff. So just be careful of that. I see Brian is with us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
You got the sign. Does the sign, like, I feel it's like the on-air sign. Do you leave it on at 24/7, or do you actually turn it off when we're not here?
Yeah, I sleep in this room, and it burns into the back of my skull.
you can't stop seeing it, eh? Even when your back's turned, I still see it.
Exactly. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. So I tend to agree with Peter. I think it's the trading may be a little tentative this morning. And of course, Powell will be stepping up to the mic at 10 o'clock. And like you said, who knows what he's going to say and how the market's going to react and how long it's going to take. But yeah, I think the price action is going to be a little bit tentative. Although we are getting a nice bounce back today so far in the markets after the sell-off yesterday. So announcement last night between, I guess there's a partnership with Uber and General Motors. I don't know if I talked about that this morning.
I didn't.
But, okay. Apparently Uber's going to be getting into the self-driving taxi business, and they're going to be using GM Cruises, I guess. So.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah. I still think it'll be pretty weird getting into an empty car and driving off into the sunset.
Cruise.
But apparently it's a once you get in and you get used to it after a couple of minutes, it's no big deal.
Huh. I still think I'd be worried about like every pedestrian and yeah, that would make me quite nervous. Well, like I keep saying, I'm happy to let someone else figure it out, and once they've proven that people don't die, then I'll jump in.
Well, I think they're they're common in San Francisco, a few other cities. At least they're operating and supposedly safely, safer than a human, as they say.
Yeah. Well, and that's true. And as Colton is saying, humans are awful at driving. We are, and that's what makes autonomous vehicles so scary, right? If every vehicle was autonomous, I'd feel much better. It's the human factor that's the risk, right? Because we do dumb things and very unpredictable things. And so that's why, like, the pedestrians, the cyclists, the human drivers, that's what makes me nervous, because, people like to step out into traffic, or, that's just the unexpected stuff. And how well can the car react? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess each one of these has like something like 300 sensors or 300 points of control that they're watching. So it's a lot more than a human can process, and all around the car. So again, people tend to, apparently this study that people tend to feel a lot more confident after using them, after they've learned a little bit about them and maybe experienced one or two drives. So I think it's like everything. It takes a long time for people to adapt to new things. As Peter, probably you know all about the whole theory of early adopters and then the followers.
Yeah, the fast follower is usually the one that makes the money, not the early adopter. So
that's right. So again, we're just kind of hanging around here. The Qs haven't done much. The SPY hasn't done much. All these Nvidia kind of looks like it might want to go somewhere. Might want to go back up.
Yeah, it's recovered well. That and Tesla. Tesla was closing yesterday down at 210, Brian, and I was worried that it was going to be gapping down to 200, but it said it's holding up. It's 213 last I looked. Where is it right now? 214. Yeah, so it's okay.
Yeah, I'm a little bit, like I said, I'm a little bit worried that we're just going to end up with what we got yesterday, which is chop, and chop is a good way to start losing money quickly. So chasing things around doesn't necessarily work for momentum traders in a choppy day. So we'll see. We might get a trending day after Powell starts talking and maybe says something that's notable. So Paris is joining us. Nvidia, MU. I find MU hard to trade. MU's down, actually. MU's the one semi that's actually down today.
Yeah, we were looking at that earlier because somebody in the room mentioned it, and I agree with you, Brian. I find it hard to trade. It's not my favorite.
Yeah. No. Uber's down a little bit on that news, which is a little surprising. Okay, well, I think that must be your 1 minute bell.
That is my 1 minute warning. I'm not sure what to watch here. I'm going to watch this FFIE. We'll see what they do, but I don't think I'll be trading it. And Nvidia. I'm going to be, like I said, I'm just going to be a little bit cautious this morning. I don't think this is a day to jump into anything unless something really starts to look interesting. Tesla's catching a bit of a bid here. Thor's thinking it's going to be fun. So Thor, if you wanted to jump in here, and you're a much more active and better trader at the open than I am, so feel free.
Got a few. Here we go. Here we go.
Markets are open.
Tesla's looking a little bit. Let's just see where things go here. Nvidia's kind of sitting where it opened. Tesla's got some orders building to the upside. Again, I'm not jumping into anything yet. We'll just hang out here for a minute or two or five. Maybe a good time to watch our scanners. Got Amazon's kind of popping.
Tesla's stubbornly not going anywhere at the moment.
No. Uber's see, Amazon like popped up and dropped right away. Nvidia's dropping a bit here.
Yeah. Tesla keeps trying to get up over 215. It keeps getting smacked back down. If it can break through here with enough orders, it could be off and running. See if it can do it this time.
Howdy, fellas.
Hey, there's Thor. Good morning.
Hey, sorry, it took me a second to get the vMix link thing worked out and to get over here, but here I am. So I don't know if I'm going to be any more fun, Peter. I've been kind of boring in the mornings lately myself, but I can do my best to be edutational.
Just on base principles, Thor, I think you're more fun. So, all right, you guys have a good open. I'll go silent for a bit and take it over.
All right.
Hey.
Yeah, no.
What's up, brother?
No trades. Hey, my man. Haven't traded with you for a while.
I know.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. It has been a bit. We've got if you go over to tradingterminal.com, we've got Fed Powell talking at 10 a.m. So, I'm a little hesitant to get too excited and involved with anything ahead of whatever that's going to do. So, but I'm looking around. So far, everything's been kind of choppy.
Yeah. We had a drop on both the Qs and the SPY at the small drop, nothing big. Oh, there goes Tesla. Tesla is starting to move through 215. We're at R3 right now.
Let's see. I'll get my screen up. All right, I went ahead and got my screen up here for anyone who's interested. I'm actually watching Apple right now for a potential short. Order book's got some orders coming into the downside.
I'm short a little Amazon, 177. Just keeping it small right now until we get to the J. Powell thing. See it lose this 80 level, 176.80. It's definitely a bidder there.
Let me pop over to YouTube so I can say hi to the YouTube people. How's things going over in YouTube Landia?
Yeah, no follow through on Tesla. Rejected right at R3.
I like AMD here too. We're in a lower range today. We're kind of pulling back to the R3 area, which is a spot I like to look for a seller. We definitely found one there, so it'll be interesting to see how strong they are.
I'm going to take a little off here at 176.70 just to lock in some profits on Amazon. Amazon kind of showed up on the scanner. That's where I picked it up. Yeah, Tesla's not... came up and filled some orders there. Still has a lot of asks, a lot of liquidity up there.
Nvidia is definitely Nvidia sold really, really hard yesterday from 126.80, which happens to be right where our R3 is at today. So we kind of have a critical spot on that one, kind of a little bit around here. So again, it probably needs to get a little bit higher to find a seller. Looks like maybe 126.50 to 126.70 on the book seems to carry a lot of orders. So it's probably going to try and squeeze up into there, and then we can watch and see how aggressive that seller is there. If they're aggressive, could give a good short opportunity from this area. If they buy through, all bets are off. And then just, again, keeping in mind we have a Fed speaking in less than a half an hour. So depending on how good you are at playing extreme volatility, you may want to, someone was saying in the YouTube room, which I really like, save your bullets for after the Fed starts speaking.
Yeah.
That's probably when the market will actually pick a direction. Speaking of, not to guilt trip you people at all, but one thing I was noticing is there are 768 people watching, which thank you so much. I appreciate you, but we only have like 270 likes. So if anyone could just do us a little bit of a favor out there, if you've got 2 seconds while you're watching things get wound up here, if you could just toss a couple of the likes out there, I'd really appreciate that. That just kind of keeps everything doing what it's doing, and it keeps the boss man happy. We don't want the boss man, when he's off doing his thing on a Friday morning, to think that you don't like Brian. I mean, obviously this isn't about me, but Brian's still here. So if you're not going to like for Brian, then I just if you're not going to like for the prophet of profit, then I just don't know what
We're here. We're here for you.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
Thank you,
here we
people.
go.
Much love. Likes for Brian. All right, here we go. R3 time on
Here we
Nvidia.
go. Yeah. Just got long a little Nvidia. Again, I'm still holding some short on Amazon, although it looks like it might have put in its bottom here. Tesla's now pulling back. Tesla's got some orders, still got a fair amount of orders up here.
YouTube says they only like for laptops. Oh man, I can't
No,
give those
there you
away.
go.
I'm not
No,
doing
we're not
that well
doing
yet.
Okay,
No,
I guess
we're
we
not
just
doing
end
that.
the stream now. It's over. Let's cut it out.
I just, I can make all kinds of false promises, however. And I
That's
can
true.
commit Andrew to all kinds of things. So I
Yeah.
could just say Andrew will give everybody gets a laptop. Oh wait, no, that's not true. Yeah, don't say that. That's I was gonna go all.
Just
I was gonna go all.
just got long
Oprah. I
little
was gonna go
Tesla
all
off
Oprah
the,
Winfrey on everyone.
off the VWAP there. Just long some Tesla now too. Still seeing where Amazon's going to go here. Stops back at 177.
Check out Nvidia here, everyone who's watching this on the heat map. Look how we have this really big seller at 127, and then kind of a lack of orders to the top side. So this is what I really want to watch, is this 127 area, to see what happens here, if they buy through this level or not. It'd be really interesting to watch here. Ooh, look at that. Nom nom. They just ate it. Look how easy that was.
Here we go. Sold some Tesla through 217. Selling some Nvidia at 127.
Nope.
Again, just not keeping, just keeping the size a little small this morning.
They just brought some orders into the downside.
Yeah. Tesla's still looking like it's got a lot of orders to the upside, 218, 219, all the whole numbers. Next target will be 218 for this. Stop will be back at the VWAP, just under 216. So managing a couple of 3 positions here. I usually don't have that many open. I think I'm going to.
I don't know, you're a baller.
I know. My entry on Nvidia is not that great. So I've taken a lot of it off. That's, again, we're kind of
Nvidia's order
struggling.
book looks like it's getting heavy to me.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to bail on the rest of Nvidia here. I just want to take my positions to a more reasonable level. I'm getting out of Amazon as well. It's getting close to my break even on the rest. So, and Tesla's dropping back to my break even as well. It's getting close anyway.
I threw a short in on Nvidia when you were getting out, so I'm going to play the other direction.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks,
Since you're done with it, my best entry for a short is Brian getting out of his long. Uh, we'll see what happens
there you
here.
go. Well,
First trade of the day, so let's see what happens. So I'm in here on a range. I went short when it set this isolated pivot here and made a low. I'm going to try and play it out through the low of day and see if this one hits. If it comes up back through 127 and a quarter, I'll call it a loss.
I only have one position now, and that's Tesla.
So one thing I liked, I actually could see it in the DOS order book. DOS's level 2 is really good if you use the order highlight feature. And so I'm highlighting orders that are over like 30 lot on Nvidia, and I could see a whole spread of orders starting to come in at the top as we were sitting there at that top area. So, we broke through the buyer and then absorbed and immediately started selling, and I saw a bunch of orders coming in to buy lower. So I had a feeling we were going to roll over here. So that's why I went ahead and hit the short on this one. Plus, we're in a lower range. So I'm looking to short somewhere around R3 in a lower range. So fingers crossed. Maybe it works out. If it bounces here and comes back out, then I don't know what level this is I have marked here, but it's probably important. I think it's R3 on
Probably. It could be important.
I think it's.
You know what? I'm getting out of Tesla as well. I just don't like even the way it's trading right now. So
yeah, it's monthly R3.
I think that I just think now we're 15 minutes in. We're now just we've kind of gone through what do they call the first 5 minutes? Amateur.
Yeah.
Amateur.
Got our little price discovery going on here. The hope would be is that we're going to set kind of our high of day up on this one at 127 and sell. With any luck, maybe the news comes out and this thing can trend down. Nvidia is very high in its daily chart right now as well, in my mind. So I think we've got opportunity here.
So you're in around 126.80.
Yeah, just barely north of that, like 126.85.
Cool. Nice.
Stop high of day.
So
a bit of
Jackson
buying
Hole
here, which I'm not in love with, but
yeah, Jackson Hole. It's hosted by the Kansas City Fed. So it's usually it's a symposium. Symposium, I think, is another word for boondoggle, which is which is where a whole bunch of corporate executives fly somewhere, somewhere beautiful on the premise that they're having an important meeting. Nvidia's got picked up some here.
They just started buying pretty aggressively there into 127. We'll see if my iceberg here holds. If not, I'll be out of this one for a loss.
Yeah, AMD is moving up here too. I'm kind of glad I got out of Tesla. It's just been chopping here. AMD picking up some orders at 155.
I was feeling pretty good about that entry. It worked out pretty nice, but just didn't get the sell to come in the way it needed to. So, at least not yet. I mean, I'm not stopped out yet, obviously, but
What's what's Kava doing? Kava was up quite a bit. Ooh, Kava's really blasting off here. Why didn't I have that on my watch list? Kava reported last night. Man. Damn.
They're not doing a very good job of holding this price down. It looks like it wants to pop. They just brought in a lot more orders to the top side here, and they've been buying quite a bit. So looks like I'm going to be wrong on this one. Maybe.
Well, I got out of it, so I'll be wrong too if it goes higher. It did come down and kind of bounce off the VWAP there.
Yeah, it came back and it found a nice buyer right here. I mean, I like the trade I took. It was I feel pretty good about the decision in total. So it definitely fit kind of like the overall. The order book was just a little bit too bullish, I think. So we had too many topside orders here. So I probably should have just let it get a little higher. But who knows? Maybe I get it here in a minute. But I'm out of it now. So
what did Avi trade? Avi traded Tesla too. Nice. And Nvidia. Avi did the same trades I did, Tesla and Nvidia. Avi, where are you on vacation? You thought you were posting from someplace. Avi was traveling, I think, somewhere with his kids. Had zeros, nice trade on Nvidia.
Nice.
One and done, as they say.
Yeah.
EMD still got some orders stacked right above where we are right now, up to 155. I think it's probably going to go there. It is kind of breaking out here. And everything a little tentative right now. Still still waiting for the Powell man to step to the mic.
There's a question. Do we have people or coaches in the BBT community that trade less than $30 tickers? I would say that we definitely. I don't think too many people trade anything lower than like maybe $7 or $8. There's a few that trade around there. Most of us tend to trade the higher price stocks because it really trading lower prices versus higher price tickers really doesn't change the amount of risk you're putting on or the amount of buying power you need to be successful. But trading higher price stocks allows you to take less shares to do the same objective, which really lowers your commissions a lot in the long run. So unless you're very, very successful and have a really good broker deal, like you're doing something like free comms or something like that, most of us tend to lean towards the higher cap, higher, mid to higher price, at 60, 70, 100, 300, up there. What do you think, Brian? Anyone who trades any of those?
I mean, I'm not averse to trading the lower price stocks. I mean, I'll trade $30 or $40 stocks if I like the setup. It's as you said, it's when you get to the $7 and $8 stocks, or you get these low float craziness trades, I tend to stay away from those. I'm not. We're just tending to trade these ones that seem to be in play each day, like Nvidia and Tesla and AMD, which all happen to be $100+ stocks. But this week I traded PL, or maybe it was last week. The all weeks all sort of come together. But I've traded PLTR in the last week or so, and that's a $32 stock. But, it had earnings, it was in play. So why not? traded VKTX. That's a $60 stock. So hell yeah, we'll
hell yeah.
trade anything that looks like it can make a dollar on it. But
Exactly.
the important thing is it's got to be, if you're trading, you've got to trade something that's sort of quote in play. Otherwise, you're just gonna, if you're not trading something in play, you're kind of trading a proxy to the market.
He's just started selling a little bit back down to a buyer.
Yeah, so no positions for me right now. I'm just it's getting too close to.
Yeah, same here. I'm gonna wait for Powell before I get. I really want to play.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna play the news, but I use futures for that. So I'm kind of hanging out a little bit and waiting to see what happens in the market. It's hard to get in ahead of these events for futures because the market. And I'll show you guys in YouTube. I don't know if we're sharing my screen on YouTube at all. Hold on, let me see. But I can show you guys on my order book what it looks like when the news comes out and why trading news events can be so dangerous. Because I'll let you guys see ahead of Powell talking how the order book starts to clear. I don't know if we can see that there. If not, everyone in BBT or inside the main chat room will get to see it. And I think you can come try this thing out for pretty inexpensive. So if you want to come in here and see this stuff like live and firsthand, you should come check it out for a little bit. And probably will hang. I'm just saying, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I really I really liked when you pointed that out one day to me, how when we come up on these news events, because in Bookmap you can see where all the orders are, where positions for institutions are positioning themselves. And when you come up on one of these news events, like they pull all their orders down, and you can see how the order book just empties out, and they just wait for the news event to happen before they start positioning for buying and selling again. I'm just looking at Cava here. I'm just thinking, man, I wish that was I forgot to put that on my list of stocks to watch today. Good earnings for Cava.
So there's a question that they were asking, which was my opinion on Powell. What are we looking to be positive or a dovish tone? So one of the things I don't want to do is make myself seem like I'm a smarter person than I am. So I honestly don't really know on the whole Fed thing. I don't really think any of that really matters when it comes down to it. I think they're gonna do what they're gonna do. I think they've already know what they want to do. I know how I think the algorithms are just waiting for specific keywords in the speech so that it starts rocking and rolling. And when it comes down to it, I'm a true day trader. I don't really swing trade ever. So I'm really just worried about the order flow and where we are. So right now, just by looking at the charts and looking at where we are, I know that there are orders that are still much lower to buy on the ES and the NQ, which are the futures for the SPY and the Qs. I do know that we are in selling ranges on our daily charts and our intra-daily charts right now. So it would be unusual for the market to have a positive response and rally out of the particular area we're in right now. Not that it can't happen. That's why I said unusual. But right now, everything looks like we're in a much better spot to sell than we are in the area to buy. And we'll see how that goes. We got 4 minutes out from that happening. And for those of you who can see my screen, the order book, even 4 minutes ahead of time, is already starting to clear. See how we have orders coming off here to the top side? So over time, so this is the order book of the entire ES right now. So these are the futures for the SPY. And you can see we have a large buyer sitting down at 55.70 who has quite a few contracts, over almost 8,000 contracts sitting just at that price, probably maybe around 20 or 30 contracts across the spread there. So, look at this. So the ES uses these flagging orders here to kind of control the price. Look how they're pulling those orders out of the way. right? So now we're actually opening the book up to allow it to move a little bit easier. And just watch over time, over the next 2 or 3 minutes, watch how you'll see all of the orders on the book. The limit orders are what stops the price from moving. So when you're trading a low float, one of the reasons why low floats are so unpredictable is because any one large buyer or seller can buy a significantly large portion of the book, right? So what happens now is basically every ticker, including your futures for the SPY and the Q, are essentially becoming low floats right now, where they're going to have very, very lean order books in comparison to the massive volume that will come through when the algos trigger with the news. So you're really going to see like some interesting price action come out when that happens, which, you know, maybe we'll be able to take advantage of. So you can see here, this is the ES, for instance. So the ideal spot, if we were going to short, would be right up here where it's shorted before. So if the news comes out and we blast up here into this higher level, chop around and start to sell, could be a good opportunity. That's awesome. The Powell. So I can tell that we're in the buying and selling range, both because of the way the order book looks and because of the actual, I use Camarilla pivots, which basically use high and low, previous day's highs and previous day's lows, or monthly highs and monthly lows to break your chart up. So anything below R4 to the mid is basically a selling range. The closer you get to 4, the more the selling. So you can see here we're kind of higher in a selling range. Like you can see yesterday, we actually had a big doji there. Right, and then it drew from there. So, and then on the intraday chart, you can see here we're actually hanging up that R3 to R4 area. So we can buy through selling ranges, but generically, if news was going to come out and you're going to go on a big rally, they would be somewhere down here in a position that's more poised to buy. So the news could come out, we could actually sell down, find a buyer, and then go on a rally and end up even with good news. So some people will say, well, it was really good news. Why did we sell off? We didn't really sell off. We just went and found a buyer and then rallied off the buyer, right? Look at here. Here we go. Watch this. See all the orders coming off the book near the price? Here on, let me fine tune this a little bit so we can see it better. $10 Here we go.
See if the algos trade off the. Good morning, everybody. Look at the Kava. Kava is still going 118. Man, this thing's gonna rock all day, or at least for.
Boom!
Tesla just blew
Look at
out.
that.
Nvidia is breaking out. Wow.
It's a lot of volume.
Q's breaking out. I guess they liked the way he said hello. He couldn't have said anything yet of any consequence.
That's what I'm saying. The news algorithms just hit the server that has the information about like what he's gonna say. Like they don't even know. You know what I mean? They just start blasting. Like how could they already know? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. They're just waiting for it and then they just do it. Whee! Look at this thing go.
Yeah, everything's buying.
Wow, that was beautiful. Look at that big pop.
SPY. Well, didn't see that coming.
Jerome's live. He's at the podium.
All right, he's taking a sip of water. Algos like it.
Interestingly, he was introduced as Jay Powell. Like I'm not sure
nice.
if she did not know his name or using his online Twitter handle. But why would you introduce him as Jay Powell? Like Jay? The simultaneous transcripts translated as Jay Powell. But, I
Yeah.
mean, why wouldn't she call him Jerome? Anyways, it was weird.
That explains
I'm
the pop.
upset she didn't say Jay Powell. I'm like, Jay Powell.
Jay Powell.
Maybe he just told her that to say that. My name's Jerome, but you can call me Jay.
You can
My
call me
friends
Jay.
call me Jay Powell.
Yeah, maybe. The J-Man.
Jay Powell and my friend Salt Bay.
All right. Well, the markets are certainly reacting. So this is exactly as we talked about pre-market, everybody, as we can see, right? Just because we're going up now, though, just don't, like, anything can still happen. We can go back down as fast, if not faster, than we went up.
Yeah,
Or go
I'm
up
going
more.
for faster.
I don't know.
Let's do it. I like the idea of... Man, if we go up, it's going to be a really boring day because at this point I've got nothing to do. So let's short some stuff.
All right. He just issued some pretty bullish comments that he's confident that things are on the right path, which would, again, further support the rate cuts.
On the right path. Well, that's good
On the right
news.
path. Those are his
I
words.
suppose we should just start buying.
Well, I think a lot of that's already priced in, but yes, sure. Please do.
Yeah, that Nvidia rejection at R4 might have been an interesting place to short, but the trend is to the upside, so could have been a scalp there.
Thor, Brian, we're only at 476 likes on YouTube. I wonder if we can get that up to past 500.
We should.
I mean, how many laptops can I promise? No?
Yeah, we should be looking at 500. I mean, it's come on, it doesn't take a lot to click the little like button.
Look at all this great
Or
entertainment you're getting.
you were
from
on the verge of going full Oprah on us before. You get a laptop, and you get a laptop.
Like everybody gets a laptop.
Everybody gets a laptop.
What Thor says is not legally binding. Disclaimer.
This is very true. I mean,
Please
so
be aware
this
that
is
Thor
kinda
does
like
not speak
why,
for
like,
Andrew.
you should, for instance, if you want to do like a funded trading account, this is one of the reasons why you need to do one through BBT, because you literally get to like take Andrew's money if you win. And I just feel like that makes it more fun than a traditional funded trading account. I actually tried to create 3 fake email addresses. All 3 of them got found and weeded out. I don't know what's going on or how they've managed to do this, but for everybody else, please do.
See, here's why it wasn't worth chasing going into that pop up here. We've pretty much pulled back to where we popped out of. So sometimes the best trade is no trade if you haven't got a reason to enter. Just chasing price around is a good way to lose money.
Yeah, absolutely. I decided to get short a little bit of the ES on that big pop. So we'll see it. We'll see if that holds up or not. But if it rallies out here, I'll get out of this and it'll be whatever it is.
Cava's through 119 now.
We're still in a selling range for me, even though we just popped into a better spot to sell. So we're not really like in a place where I would be considering going long right now. Of course, my DOS just started lagging. So
Mhm.
Great timing on that.
Well, Romo trade of the day is Kava.
So one I got going on, Brian, I took this morning. I've been holding it since a little bit before the open. I actually got a long going on crude futures today because the Baker Hughes count's coming out later today. So
Yeah.
I bought like basically the breakout area on crude, and it's been rallying pretty nicely in the morning.
Nice. Crude's have a pretty rough year so far. I think it's either negative on the year, the actual price of crude, or it's very close to being negative.
Well, the market's kind of just chopping around a little bit now.
Yeah, maybe this is going to be a big event. It's already happened.
You can see here on
Yeah,
my hold on. Here's the crude one. My DOS is frozen right now, so I'll just show you on mine. So you can see here I got long on crude around I'm just trying to play a breakout. I don't know if I'll actually get all the way to full target on this one or not, but I'm actually going to let this one trail just in case. There we go. So either way, I'll make some money on this one, but I'm going to trail the 50 on it. So if it comes back, I'll get out of that one.
Pull back, and now we've bounced right back up on Nvidia. Same with Tesla, looking like might want to break out here.
Fun market, good volatility.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My DOS is still frozen, which is great.
That's annoying.
I'm rebooting it now. So and then so actually I think that's lagging, and then I just realized the time. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it a morning.
Okay.
So I got
sounds good.
this one. I got my little crude trade going here, and I'm gonna let that hang and see what happens, and then we'll see what else I do. But don't want to get too involved yet until I see some things move around a bit. So, but great hanging out with everybody, especially out there on YouTube, and I appreciate the likes, even though I had to guilt you for every single one of them. But it's okay. I appreciate you. But I hope everyone has a good one. And for everyone in BBT, I will see you all on in like 40 minutes. Talk to you later.
Right on. Thank you, Thor, for hopping on. Always a pleasure and fun trading with you, getting your insights as well. All right. Nvidia's on the verge of breaking out here. Here we go here. The Qs and SPY look like they do want to go higher. Let's take a bit of a long here on Nvidia. It's 128.77. Just see if we can get a continuation move. There are some orders up there, but man, let's see.
Brian, I just want to remind YouTube chat that we're going to have Pierre on today, and he's going to talk about consistent learning, consistent trading success, pretty much how to be consistent with your trading, and
Right
that will be at 10:30.
Okay. Selling a little bit of Nvidia 129.03. I think we're going higher though. Always like to lock in a little profit just in case, because we are pretty extended here. Here we go. We've got some orders at 129.50 as well. Qs and SPY breaking out. Oh, Kava's going to 120. Jeez. I gotta stop looking at that. It's just making me crazy. All right. Sold a little bit more of Nvidia at 129.28. Kava's got a big short interest. I think it's getting a bit of a squeeze. Okay, we're getting a pullback on the Qs. Let's see what Nvidia is going to do here. We'll stop out back at break even. Okay, Nvidia is coming back down to my break even, so probably look at getting out of it here. There we go. Qs and SPY dropping here now. All right, right, keeping it green on a Friday, that's important. Do you want to go into the weekend with some bad memories about trades that didn't go well on your Friday? Wow, Meta, wow, what the heck? Everything's dropping hard. Wow. SPY down to the VWAP. Q's down to the VWAP. What happened there? Powell must have upset somebody. He upset some algo. Jared, did you were you trading Kava? As nobody had it on their watch list. Even though I heard it last night, I was listening to some news. I thought, nice. Thought about it. I should have made a note about it last night. I just completely forgot about it this morning. Jaden, that's a book map of Kava. Yeah, it's still got some orders there at 120, but I'm not sure if it's going to get there or not. Once the market comes ripping back here. It does apparently have a 10.5% short interest. There's definitely some sellers in here now, just putting up some orders. And there's some orders building now to the downside on Kava, so okay, I'm looking for a trade to take that sort of sits with my trade book, but I'm not seeing anything looking I really want to trade at this point. Anyway, we're kind of we had this pop, and now we're falling back into a bit of a trading range here. As Thor mentioned, we are in a bit of a selling area here, so Q's FFIE bouncing back. All right, Tesla looks like might be getting ready to move up here. Sort of a break of high of day. These are one of John's favorite trades. LD and LU on your level 2 is areas where there will be a halt. So if volatility is too high on a stock, in other words, if it starts moving too quickly in one direction or the other, the exchange will basically halt the stock, usually for 5 minutes. Let things sort of a cooling off period, and then they'll open it up again. Kind of reluctant to chase things around here. I mean, it looks like Nvidia wants to maybe test 130. Want to get a bit of a pullback. The Qs, again, really haven't broken out of a range yet, trading range. This R4 level, Camarilla pivot, is resistance. SPY has resistance at yesterday's high. If we start to break out above those levels, I would guess the market will move higher. So just keep an eye on those levels right now. All right, let's see if Qs break out here. from R4. The next level would be probably yesterday's high, which is around just under 486. I think we're going here. We're going to break out. There we go. Long AMD.
Okay, Brian, we're going to wrap it up here on YouTube.
All right.
Last words you want to say to YouTube?
No, I think hope everyone had a good day, and remember, it's pretty easy to join us. It just costs $1 for a week, and always appreciate you coming just the same. So hope everyone had a good morning, and enjoy your weekend, everyone. Take care, and we will see you on Monday morning. Cheers, everybody.
Great, thank you.
And all right. And now we've got Pierre on YouTube, right?
Pierre's coming right up.
Right on. There you go.
Hey, Pierre. How are you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. Sorry Carlos can't be here. He's on vacation. But I'll let you take it away. And you're going to talk about consistency today, which is, I'm sure, very important for a lot of traders.
Yes, for sure.
Consistent learning,
thank you, Brent.
consistent trading success.
Wow.
Thank you, Brian, as well for the trading this morning. We had a pretty volatile morning with the speech of Jerome Powell. As of for me, I didn't took any trade yet today. I feel like during those days, I prefer being really patient and wait to see what the market will offer me a little bit later in the day, as I like to play breakout and reversal. So for now, I'm waiting more for reversal. So yeah, today I wanted to touch base a little bit about learning. So I feel like learning in day trading is a super important thing. It's something that you need to constantly improve. And that's the beauty of it. For example, when I started trading, my bread and butter strategy always been the open range breakout, 5 or 15 minutes. And it's super crazy to see the way I evolved that strategy to become what it is today. I feel like every year, every 6 months, I always adapt the strategy to make it a little bit better. And that's a super important thing in day trading. Always be open to keep learning from other mentors or other traders out there. And there's always room to become a better trader. So especially that in the market, there's different environment. You can trade some bear market, some bull market. The market is always evolving and changing. So it's super crucial to adapt to that and to try to play different strategy and improve them.
Great. YouTube, start sending your questions for Pierre. Now is the time to send them in, and we'll get to them in a little bit. So I guess I have a question, though. When you first started trading, how hard was it to become consistent with your trading?
So for me, it took me about 2 years to become a full-time trader. The hard thing for me, the bigger challenge I had is when I was trading in simulation, when I started for about 6 months, I was having really good result. I was having a system that was working. But when I jumped into live trading with real money, I wasn't losing money, but I wasn't profitable. So something was weird. So the hard thing for me, the biggest challenge, it was all about my emotions and the psychology related with trading. So when I really start focusing on that and trying to build a system for my emotions, that's where it was a game changer for me. So I had a lot of back and forth from simulation to live trading, came back to simulation, back to live trading, and eventually built from there with a small risk. And that's pretty much the learning curve I had in about 5-6 years ago.
And what determines on your end when you feel like you need to go back to simulation? That's an interesting point of being live
Yes,
trading and
yes.
then you feel, no, I got to go back to the sim. What makes that decision for you?
So for me, it was pretty simple. I knew I had a system that was working, but when I jumped with live money, my result by documenting every trade, I was realizing I was break even. I wasn't making any money. So for me, the documentation part, it's the best signal for you that tells you if you should go back in sim or not. So if you're not making the same result that you were making in simulation with live money, that's a good sign that you have something to work on.
Great. We're getting a bunch of questions in from YouTube, so I'm going to turn to them.
Yes.
First one, what are the pillars or factors to many to I guess many to achieve consistency in trading? So what's the foundation that you need to build as a trader to become consistent?
So the foundation, I see it in two main categories. First of all, you need to master a strategy, and that strategy is going to help you build a system. So if you're starting, I recommend focusing on one strategy, but eventually I feel like it's a really good thing to have at least two strategies. Like for me, it's the open range breakout and the reversal. So that's the first thing, having a system that are proven results and that you know works. The second pillar, it's all about the emotion, and in my opinion is the most important one. So everything related with the psychology, you need to have a strong base there and you need to understand them. I always tell people you shouldn't remove your emotion and forget about those. The emotions in trading are super normal, so it's all about understanding them and being aware of your patterns, being aware of, okay, I'm start feeling this kind of emotion because of this situation, and slowly you know how it's building up, and that way you will really understand them and you will prevent big mistakes. Because emotions are really normal. Even me, like every day when I trade, I still feel emotions, either positive emotion or negative emotions, but they are super normal. It's just now I'm really aware of how they work, and I'm able to don't have big mistake relay with them anymore. So yeah, we'll say those are the main two pillars.
Great. I got another great question from if I'm pronouncing these names wrong, you can you know tease me in the chat about it. But Ecam Verma, how to avoid a choppy market? That's a great question.
Yeah, that's a hard question to answer. You never know for sure if you're gonna get choppiness or not. But one indicator I really like to use to help me determine if we're gonna be choppy or not is using the Camera pivot points. And that brings me back to the initial subject we talked about learning, how important it is to learning and to keep improving your strategy. So, for example, the Camera pivot point is an indicator that when I start trading, I wasn't using. It's an indicator I only been using for about a year that I learned a lot from Tor. For those who don't know, Tor is one of the great mentors we have in Bearable Traders. By the way, he also have a book if you guys are interested to learn more about the Camera pivot points. He's the master of that. So to bring back to the question, the way I use those Camera pivot points to give me an idea if we're going to chop or not, I look at the range. So if we're in the upper part of the range between R3 and R4 or S3 and S4, then I can imagine that we're going to go back inside the range. So we're not going to get choppiness there. But if we're in between, let's say S2 and R2, there's a most likely chance that we're going to chop around those two levels there. So that's a really interesting indicator to know if we're going to chop or not. But again, it's never 100% sure.
Great. I got another question from Dull Shaken. So, do you find stocks that present to you opportunities for your types of setups every day? How many strategies do you use this year? I guess, like, yeah, do you find the stocks that fit your strategies every day, or do you kind of have some go-to stocks that are consistent with your type of strategy?
Yes. That's a good question. I for sure I have some go-to stocks like Nvidia, Tesla, AMD, Apple, all those stocks. Like pretty much since the beginning of the year, they always come back in my watch list. The reason of that is because those stocks always have good volume, always traded good. Of course, I'm paying attention to news. If some particular stock had earnings or any kind of catalyst, I will most likely put them in my watch list. It's all about how those stocks trade in the pre-market, what kind of volume they're showing me, and those are the main criteria I look at to build my watch list. But honestly, if you look at the morning show with Carlos and Peter, I mostly follow those guys and build my watch list around that.
So just a reminder, make sure you log into YouTube and watch us at 8:30 with Carlos and Peter. You know, Pierre
Yes.
has said that they have a great watch list, great trade ideas. So make
Yeah,
sure
pretty
you do
much. Pretty much since I started trading,
yeah.
I've been watching this show, and every morning they really help me to build a watch list. Of course, I watch some scanners, but they pretty much do the same thing as I do. So I'm most often than not just follow those guys. I really recommend watching that show.
Okay, another question. Again, if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, you can totally tell me in chat. Anis Amid. They are asking, how do we quantify consistency? Is it a win-loss ratio or the average wins and the average losses?
No, so the win rate will really depend of your strategy. So for example, some people can be really profitable by just winning 20% of their trades. It's all depends of the risk to reward. So if you're aiming to make, I don't know, 8 times your risk, your win rate could be low and you will still be profitable. So I wouldn't judge consistency depending on your win rate. It really depends of how much you make when you win versus when you lose. So for example, for me, the system I have, I make about 4 times my risk when I'm right in average, but I only win about 40 to 45% of my trades. So that's my system. For other people, it could be really different, but you need to have an edge with that 100%. And that's when documenting it's so important, so you can know exactly where you're standing with those results.
Great. I'm going to kind of paraphrase another question from Dal. Just more about options and being consistent with options. As we can see, especially in the Reddit traders, when they trade options, they can see mass losses because you're on margin, right? So I don't know if you trade options, but if for people that do, how do you keep that consistent without massive losses?
Yeah, that's a hard question for me to answer. I don't trade options. By the way, if you guys are looking to join the community, we have some mentors that really specialize in options, and every week they have a mentorship talking about options. But no, for me, I've always been just focusing on stocks. So hard question to answer there.
Okay, I got another good question actually from Rustic Elegance 1. Oh, I like that name. What sort of emotional stops do you put on your trades? So, for example, if I catch myself thinking X, I have to stop trading or something else. So, yeah, what you're talking about when you get emotional? At what point
Yes.
do you put a kind of stop loss on your emotions and you're like, I'm done?
Yes, that's a super important question. I have some really specific rules for that. So for example, for me, if I lose 4 hours on a day, I'm done trading. No matter what, if I lose 4 trades in a row, my day is done. And I don't know if we have a lot of people in YouTube using Dash Trader Pro. I imagine a lot of day traders are using that. So that's the platform I'm using. And the really nice thing about Dash Trader Pro is that you can have some rules built in the system that can automatically block you if you reach a certain amount of money.
Oh,
So
that's
for me,
interesting.
that's a tool I've been using for since I started trading, basically, and it's super important to prevent big losses. Because for me, I realized that if I lose 4 trades in a row, that's where I start losing my emotions, and they bring a lot of mistakes.
You start revenge trading.
Exactly, and I'm aware of that. It happened to me, like it probably happened to every trader, and it's all about recognizing that and trying to use the tools we have these days available to help you prevent those big losses. 100%.
As a trader, it seems like there's two states of mind, right? When you're not trading, it's like a logical brain. But when you're in the middle of a trade, that goes completely out the window. So you're recommending finding not only trying to build that emotional control, but trying to find technological controls that will stop you from giving in
Yeah,
to
well,
your emotions.
it's a mix of both. It's a good point you bring there. It's really a mix of both. The way I really see trading is that most of the time you're not in control. The only time you're in control is when you're not in the trade. So once I'm in the trade now, I always keep reminding myself that, okay, in this moment, you just bought that ticker, you're in a trade, you're not in control, let it go. So just changing your mindset related with that, it's making a big difference. Well, it did for me.
And sorry.
Day trading
Continue.
is I was just gonna say day trading is more spiritual than people thinks. It's a really spiritual game.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotion involved. Whether you
Mhm.
want to think that you're not emotional about it, you're wrong, right? It hits that dopamine release. We had a great talk on Wednesday with Andrew and I'm going blank right
Creed,
now.
yeah.
Creed, yeah. I didn't want to get her name wrong. And they talked a lot about that. And we hope to put that. You can see it in our old live from Wednesday, but we hope to isolate that and put that as a separate video too. But that's, no matter what, it's almost you have to recognize you are an emotional person and that's going to affect you. You can't kid yourself.
Yes, and everybody are gonna have emotions. People will feel different kind of emotions, but everybody goes through those emotions, and it's super normal. You don't want to fight against it, you just want to understand them. That's where everything starts.
And I'm going to take one last question.
Yes.
Here's a good one. How do you deal with FOMO when trading 5 to 15 minutes ORB? Because sometimes the stock just goes right up, down during a 1 minute orb. So yeah, I've seen that a lot where you just see a stock skyrocket and you're like, I gotta get in
Yeah.
this. It's going to go up further, and then plummets, right? How do you have that self control not to FOMO into
Yes.
something?
A thing that really helps me with that is that I don't only play the open range breakout. I also play the reversal. So the way I trade, I play the 5 minute ORNB, the 15 minute ORNB, and lastly the reversal a little bit later in the day. So when the day starts, if I miss a good 5 minute ORNB and I see the stock just going up, 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 and I have that emotions that I want to chase it and enter the trade, I remind myself that, okay, I can wait just a little bit more, see if we have some potential 15 minutes ORNB instead. And even then, if I end up not taking any trade and I still have that FOMO of chasing a trade, I keep reminding myself that, okay, maybe later in the afternoon, I will have a reversal opportunity. So that's the great thing about playing different kind of strategy, that it helps you remove the feeling of needed to trade, because that's super normal. It's super hard to spend a full day inside of your screens and not trade at all. It's super normal. All traders out there feel this kind of emotion, and I feel that for me personally, what helped me with that is having different kind of strategies.
You almost need like your keyboard to electrify you if you're about to get into those
Yes.
trades.
Yes.
Have the algorithm identify it and like, no, you're not doing it, and you get a good shock. That will teach you. Sorry,
Exactly.
I do have one last question. And
Yes.
Earth to Mars 99. I'm not quite sure what tool he's asking. What tool? What is the tool called? Uh, did you mention a tool in this that you were talking about?
The tool in Dash Trader.
Yeah, and that you said Dash Trader. Is that what you're referring to?
Well, Dash Trader is the trading platform. If you want to enable the tool. If you go on your account
Oh,
on DAS
sorry
and
to
you
correct you. Not Dash Trader. Oh yeah, yeah, it is Dash Trader. He's just kind of asking you how do you set it so it can stop trading?
yeah
So
yeah
could
so
you
there
walk us through those
so
steps?
yes,
Uh,
of course. So
you
in
can share your
your
screen on the vMix. There should be a share screen button, and you
but
can show us
basically
everything.
it's just you right click on your account and you go to the edit risk control.
Oh, okay, easy enough.
Then it will open a page and you can I can also share my screen. So you told me it's in the other link, right?
Well, for now, let's not worry about that. What you can do is on this vMix call, there is a share screen button. You can just click that and we'll see your screen. We just won't see
There you go.
you
Should be
further.
able to see it now. So that's a little bit how the risk control page looks like. So
And
here
how do
you
you
can
set it?
edit.
Yeah.
So you can edit the max loss here. You can put an amount, and when you reach that, you cannot take new orders. You can also set up a stop gain when you reach a certain amount of realized profit. It will stop you trading. So it's a lot of tools here that you can use to help you with that.
Uh, and yeah, it's DAS Trader. So DASTRADER. DAS Trader. That's what the software is called. Yeah, Ivan's got it right. Okay. Pierre, you can go back to your camera. Thank you so much. Thank you, chat, for the great questions. We're going to have you back sometime. And
Of course.
yeah, no, it's great to learn that you can build a system that can stop yourself from being stupid. Because we're all stupid at the end of the day. We're all monkeys. We
Yeah.
will trade against our best interests just for that
Yeah.
little dopamine hit.
No, but definitely using the technology we had these days, it's a game changer and so important.
Great, thank you so much. And
All
everybody
right.
on live stream, thank you. Come back next Monday. Andrew will be in Burning Man, so we'll have a range of guests for open trading. And then Carlos will be back in September, so he'll be more doing stuff like this instead of me. So I'm just kind of covering for him for now. He needs a vacation. Again, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Brand.
Pierre, I'll give you the last
Thank you,
word.
everyone on YouTube. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Okay. Have a good one, guys.